everybody, it's Amy Warden with Great Cakes Soapworks, and I am so excited that we are getting started with the soap challenges again. For our first technique, we are going to be doing a tiger stripe. Now I believe that Kenna from Amathea Soapworks was the first one to come up with this technique. At least she's the first one to document it on YouTube, so I'm going to give her credit. But it is very similar to the faux funnel, only the difference is that you just keep pouring stripes down the middle of your mold with each color. You can use several different colors if you like, but I think the best way to do it is with two different colors that are a high contrast. So for my batch today, I'm going to be doing a black and white stripe with a contrast of one pink stripe. This is similar to the pink sugar soap that I made earlier for Valentine's Day, but I've been asked to make a custom batch of soap with the black raspberry cream fragrance. So I'm just going to test it out for the challenge, and then I'll know whether or not it will work for the custom batch. Always a good idea to test what you're going to make for a customer. So let's get started. For this test batch, I'm going to make a fairly small batch of soap. I have about 30 ounces of oils here, and I've already added the black raspberry fragrance, so I am ready to add my lye. For this technique, you want to make sure that your soap is pretty fluid and that you can work with it for a pretty good amount of time. So I think this black raspberry is very workable. I have my temperatures around 85 to 90 degrees for both the lye solution and the oils. That should give me plenty of time as well. So I'm just going to blend them up real quick. Now you can see they're just barely emulsified here. Somebody asked me when I did a demo with the Central Soapers workshop, how can you get away with doing that and not get a false trace? And I think the solution or the answer maybe to that is your water discount. If you use a full water amount, I think the chances of getting a false trace are a lot higher. I believe it's called a 33% lye solution. So basically twice the amount of water to the amount of lye. Sorry, I'm trying to pour and think at the same time. It's not working very well. Okay, so those are my black and my white, and then this one is going to be the pink. I'm just going to do a tiny, well, maybe a tiny bit more. We'll go 4 ounces for the pink. Then maybe I'll have some to play with on top. Looks like I need more black. Now the white and the black, I kind of knew how much colorant I was going to need for each one, but my one little pink stripe, I wasn't sure. So I just put that in a separate bowl and I will add it until I think it looks right. Not the way that I normally do things, but since it's such a small amount, I think I'll be okay. So I'm just going to stick blend these real quick. I've got 1 teaspoon of titanium dioxide with a little bit of water. And this is how much soap? I can't read the side of my measuring cups anymore, but I'd say it's about 2 cups. And depending on how much your fragrance is going to discolor the soap, that will depend on how much titanium dioxide you'll need. And of course, the base color of your soaping oils. If you're using a lot of hard white oils, That will help your final soap to come out much lighter. And that looks fairly black. The other thing with my pink sugar soap is I use black oxide, and with this one I used a black mica. So I'm hoping maybe that will help it not to bleed as much. I did have trouble with the pink sugar, and part of that I know was the fragrance oil, but I'm wondering how much of that was also the black oxide. So there's another thing I'm testing. And I want this to just be a very light pink. I'm going to pour a little bit in. Yep, I think I'm going to need at least all of it. Might even need more. Yep, I think I'm going to need some more. That's a very light pink. I used a combination of bubblegum pink and ruby rose. Ruby rose is super dark, so I'm going to add more of the ruby rose, and hopefully it doesn't clump. I know some people like to add micas to oils, and I prefer to use water whenever possible to disperse my colorants. I need to get my gloves back on. Because the more oil you add to the recipe, the softer it's going to be, whereas the water will evaporate out. That's my thought anyway. And I think I've got plenty, so I'm gonna try to scrape that off a little bit. And that looks like it incorporated nicely. It's a very nice pink. Okay, we better get started pouring here. Soap is still very fluid. Starting to see signs of trace. Now, there's several ways that you can get different designs with the tiger stripe. And one of them is to do it the way Kenna did, with super thin lines each time. I'm going to go ahead and make mine a little bit thicker. And you probably can't see that very well. So I'm going to move this a little closer. Turn my mold around again, because obviously the place where I start, I end up pouring more soap. And I think we're ready for that pink stripe now. And then I'm going to do another white one so that it really sets it apart. That's what I did on the pink sugar one. I really liked how it turned out. my line's got a little wonky there on the top, but I think that's gonna be really pretty. Can't wait to see how it turns out.